Welcome to Planet Hex. I'm Andrew Hawnt and I have a confession. Once upon a time, for a long time, I hated video games. Sorry. So this episode I'm going to talk about why I hated video games and why I was wrong. So back in the mists of time, in the early 80s, I got my hands on my first console. I must have been about 5 or 6, and I was given a second-hand Atari 2600, and I played the hell out of that. I loved it. I loved games like Pitfall and Berserk were my favourite ones, particularly Pitfall, and that was awesome, the original Pitfall. And eventually I moved on to the Sega Master System, enjoyed things like California Games and Shinobi and such like, and then eventually moved on to the Sega Mega Drive, which was my big main console when I was properly gaming back in the day. God, I feel old. I feel so old when I realise how long ago the Mega Drive era was. I'm thinking like 1991 when I was getting into that. So my big games when I was playing on the Mega Drive were of course Sonic the Hedgehog, the original Mortal Kombat, and Zero Wing. Yep, the one with All Your Base All Belong to Us. I loved Zero Wing, and it was a great console for me. It gave me a chance to relive a lot of the fun I'd had in arcades. I hung out in arcades a lot as a kid, either on holiday or locally when there were still arcades around in my hometown, and it was the best. I loved arcade culture, and I was sad that when it went away. And I don't know, maybe I blamed the home consoles. It was probably their fault anyway that arcades went away, but you know, it was. But I was probably a bit bitter against consoles, to be honest, after the arcade culture died away. But yes, I missed out on the entirety of several generations of games consoles. So I went from Sega Mega Drive in the early 90s, and then I didn't own a console again until I bought a second-hand Wii in about 2014, 2015, something like that. Probably a little bit later. So between those, in that massive space of time, I saw video games as something very negative, a waste of time, and limited in how much entertainment they could offer. I think it's because I was getting bitter. That, you know, things had moved on from the era that I knew and I was familiar with. Things had become a lot more complicated, a lot more complex. Games could be lived in. You could be completely engrossed in games. You know, you get RPGs like Final Fantasy or so on, and you would get absolutely lost in them for ages. And I don't know, I don't think I had the confidence to dedicate all that time to games. Other things had come along. I had a deep love of comic books and comic book culture and movies, low budget cult movies, particular horror movies and sci-fi movies and ninja movies, and just lots and lots of films, and music. And of course I had my years of playing guitar in bands and in my bedroom doing 4-track demos on an old Tascam 4-track tape recorder, that sort of thing. That's what I had filled my time with, and I think I was a bit snobbish towards video games and didn't really see the appeal because it wasn't the Mega Drive stuff anymore. And that was really short-sighted of me. I did rediscover gaming on mobile devices, on like iPads and tablets and my phone, and back when I had an iPod Touch and iPod Nanos. Remember the iPod Nanos, the original ones that were like little square ones? They were awesome. I used to play Sonic the Hedgehog on that with the click wheel. You could use the click wheel to direct yourself. It was awesome. But I rediscovered things like, you know, just the simple things like Tetris and of course Sonic and things like that. And slowly but surely figured maybe gaming isn't just pointless. It is a nice thing to do. It's fun. It can be engrossing. And I was wrong. But that stubbornness and that snooty attitude I had, it cost me so much. I missed so many cool things that happened in pop culture. have been catching up. So I missed the entirety of the original PlayStation era and the original Xbox era. I missed the N64 and all these things. For years, I missed all of it. By the time I did pick up that second-hand Wii, the intention was that I got it for the kids so they could get some practice using wireless controllers and interacting with things on screen before we eventually got a Switch. Now we do have a Switch now, as well as several other retro consoles that predate the Switch. There's an Xbox 360, there's the Mega Drive, there's all kind of handhelds, there's all sorts of stuff, because I'm trying to make up for lost time, because I feel stupid that I was so negative towards these things. Yeah, I kind of turned my nose up at it all, and even more so when World of Warcraft became a huge thing. That was a genuine, huge moment in popular culture. There was this huge, massive multiplayer online role-playing game where people could interact and join together and enjoy these things together, and that is the thing that I regret not being in part of the most, I think. Once things became a little more accessible to other people to join in with, and gaming became a more social pastime, which did help to do away with the stigma against video gaming, I started to come around and think maybe there was something to this after all. And it has been said to me before that some people have said that they didn't think I could get back into gaming because just so much had changed. But thankfully now, a lot of the stuff I loved back in the day is retro, so I have the familiarity of those things, and I have been filling the gaps in my video game experience over the last couple of years, wherever possible, with lots of titles that have been highly revered for many years. Skyrim and Halo and things like that, and Mass Effect. I've been going through all those and loving them, and I guess what I want to say is to the gamers that I belittled and the gaming community as a whole, I'm sorry. I was wrong. This stuff is fun. I love the rise of esports. I love the rise of more games where you can interact with fellow players on your team and things like that. Granted, there are some safety issues with things like Minecraft and Roblox and Fortnite, of course, where kids can be exposed to people that they shouldn't be exposed to, and I can understand that. Especially as a parent, I don't want my kids interacting with people they don't know, really. I do have I have limits, to be honest. It is monitored, the things I let the kids do, and I would think that my parents would have done the same for me at the time, but I don't want them to be shut away from these things. I don't want them to be completely refused the experience that their friends and their peers are having, because that to me is sort of like how I refused myself the entertainment value of it. I was a grumpy old git for years, and I'm sorry about that. Now there are things that I would wish I would have had at the time, things like Magic the Gathering Arena. I know not everyone is a Magic player. I am a Magic player and I love it dearly, and Arena is a great thing. I thought that was fantastic. What a great thing to add to offer players to enjoy and experience, especially during things like COVID. And I am really trying to fill in all the gaps in my knowledge and experience, and I'm having an absolute blast with it. And I do regret that I didn't have this fun a damn sight sooner. So yeah, I hated video games, and I was stupid to do so, because they are fun, they are entertaining, they are insightful, they are engrossing, and they really do fire the imagination. I don't believe that they stifle imagination, I believe they fire imagination, because the people that are playing these games may well move on to create further games that are even bigger and better and more entertaining and more engrossing. Let's see how far we've come in all these the years since I was playing the Mega Drive. It's incredible, and it's in many ways it is getting better all the time. But yes, I hated video games. I don't anymore, and I fully admit I was wrong. I'm sorry about that. So with that said, thank you very much for watching this episode of Planet Hex. I'm going to go and play some video games.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and validate my existence.